Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down Chapter 71, Lord of All Creation.
And this chapter is all about a single, desperate choice. It's less about fists and more about a battle of wills, played out over a pool of water.
Oh, it is. We get a lot of answers, but the one moment that sticks with me is Zoro sinking with his life completely in Nami's hands. He literally throws himself into the water just to see what she'll do. It's one of the most gutsy super moves we've seen from anyone, and he doesn't even draw a sword.
He forces her to show her true face. It's an incredible gamble, betting his own life on the bond they've formed, a bond that, from the outside, looks completely shattered.
It is. And if you want to be there for every gamble, every big swing Oda takes, make sure you're following the show. It's the best way to make sure our breakdowns land in your feed right after you finish the chapter. Now, let's get into it because Usopp is getting his world turned upside down.
He is. The chapter opens with him and Nojiko, and Usopp is in a state of pure confusion. He's just arrived on this island, he's seen Nami with the enemy, and now he's face to face with this blue-haired, tattooed woman who clearly knows her. And right away, she tells him this is Nami's childhood home.
And that alone changes the game, right? This isn't just some island Nami was passing through. This is her home. These are her roots. You can see Usopp trying to compute that. And then the bombshells just keep dropping. They're adopted sisters. Their mother is dead. Usopp is just trying to process all this, and his brain immediately goes to the most logical place. Nami betrayed you all. She joined the pirates who control this town.
It's a completely fair assumption based on what he's seen. He saw her on the ship with Arlong's flag. He saw her abandon them at the Baratie. He's connecting the dots, but he has the wrong picture. He's looking at a constellation and seeing a monster when it's actually a map leading home.
Exactly. And you can feel his frustration. He's not just angry, he's hurt. He's trying to make his memories make sense. He's like, if she was just using us for treasure, why did she save my village? Why did she look so happy with us? He can't make it make sense. He's trying to reconcile the Nami who laughed and partied with them on the Going Merry with this cold-hearted traitor she's pretending to be.
Nojiko's reaction to that is so telling. It's so quiet, but it lands like a physical blow. Nami happy? Just that one question casts a shadow over everything Usopp thought he knew about their time together. It implies that the happiness he saw was at best a fleeting moment of relief for Nami, and at worst, a performance.
It reframes the entire Baratie arc, doesn't it? That whole adventure, fighting Don Krieg, Sanji joining the crew, all that laughter on the deck as they set off, and Nami was carrying this impossible weight the entire time. Every smile was hiding something. Every time she talked about treasure, it wasn't about greed, it was about something so much heavier. Bro, that hurts to think about.
It suggests a level of inner turmoil we haven't seen from any of the crew yet. She was living a double life, not just with Arlong, but with herself. And Nojiko tries to warn Usopp off. She tells him not to mess with the Arlong pirates, that it only leads to death. She's seen it happen. She's not being threatening, she's trying to save his life, because she probably sees a bit of that same reckless hope in him that she used to see in Nami.
But Usopp's not thinking about that. He's not thinking about his own safety. He's just found the Going Merry, docked right near the village, and he starts panicking because he remembers Zoro was captured. He left to chase Nami, and now he's gone.
The pieces click into place for him in the worst way possible. They didn't just land randomly, they landed at the heart of Nami's problem. And Zoro, their crew's unstoppable force, is already in the enemy's headquarters. He's walked right into the shark's mouth.
And what a headquarters it is. We cut to Arlong Park, and it looks ridiculous, but in a scary way. It's this gaudy, over-the-top resort built by a tyrant. And Arlong is seated, surrounded by his officers, projecting absolute power. And the first thing Zoro does is not plead, not bargain, but insult him. He looks at this fearsome, powerful fishman, the supposed lord of all creation, and calls him a half-fish mutant.
That's our Zoro. No fear. Absolutely zero. He's in the lion's den and decides to poke the lion in the eye. That is prime Mosshead energy right there. He has no time for posturing or threats. His default setting is disrespect, and I am here for it. You have to respect the sheer audacity.
Arlong, to his credit, is almost amused. He has the confidence of someone who has never truly been challenged here. He says he'll forgive him once and then lays out his entire worldview. It's not just about treasure or power. He genuinely believes that fishmen are the superior species, destined to rule over the weak, foolish humans.
This isn't just a pirate crew. This is a supremacy movement. It's ideology-driven, which makes it so much more dangerous than it just a bunch of thugs looking for gold. A guy like Don Krieg wanted to rule the East Blue through fear and firepower. Arlong believes it's his birthright. He sees humans as cattle.
It adds a layer of systemic evil to the story that we haven't encountered before. Kuro was a psychopath, Krieg was a warlord, but Arlong is a zealot. He's building a society based on his prejudice, and this is the perfect moment for Oda to introduce the one human he seems to tolerate. Nami walks in. The look on Zoro's face, it's pure shock. She's there, walking freely among them, looking completely at home.
And Arlong just twists the knife. He doesn't just say she works for him. He calls her an exception among the inferior human race, their cartographer. He's showing her off like a prize, like a prized pet who can do a clever trick. It's so demeaning. He's basically saying, look at this human. She's smart enough to know her place is serving me.
And she has to play the part. She has to stand there and accept this poisoned praise. When Arlong asks if they know each other, she has to deliver the coldest line imaginable. She dismisses Zoro as just another victim.
That had to hurt. I mean, they've fought side by side. They've bled together. She nursed him after his battle with Mihawk. For her to look him in the eye and reduce him to that's a deep cut. Zoro asks her point blank, is this your true self? And she just looks him in the eye and says, yes. She says she was with Arlong all along. She's burning the bridge right in front of him.
The way Arlong laughs after that, it's chilling. He calls her a cold-blooded witch who only cares about money. He's enjoying her performance. He's enjoying her pain. He thinks he's corroborating her story, adding to her mystique as this cruel, calculating woman. But in reality, he's just describing the persona he forced her to adopt.
But Zoro sees it. He's not like the other fishmen just laughing along. He's watching her. He catches the little flicker, that scowl she tries to hide when Arlong says that. He sees that the mask isn't perfect. It's just a tiny crack, but for a guy like Zoro, a tiny crack is all he needs to drive a sword through.
And that's when he makes his move. He understands that arguing is pointless. Her words are lies dictated by her situation. He needs to see her actions.
Bro, this moment, this is one of the smartest things a Straw Hat has done so far. I'm dead serious. It's a bigger brain play than anything Usopp's come up with. He doesn't try to fight, he doesn't argue, he just jumps into the pool.
Knowing he's a devil fruit user? Wait, no, he's not. My apologies, that's a force of habit. He just can't swim well. And more importantly, he's been captured, his hands are likely bound, or at least he's in a state where he can't easily save himself. He intentionally makes himself completely vulnerable.
Yes, thank you. He can't swim well and he's been captured. He puts his life not in the hands of his enemy, but in the hands of his friend who is pretending to be his enemy. He's forcing her to choose, right here, right now, in front of everyone. It's a live fire trust exercise.
It's a perfect gambit. There is no middle ground. If she lets him drown, she proves to Zoro, and more importantly to herself, that she really is that monster. She solidifies her cover forever, but she loses a piece of her soul. If she saves him, she breaks character in front of everyone, potentially signing her own death warrant. He's asking her, who are you? And the only way to answer is to act.
And she doesn't even hesitate. There's no pause, no weighing the options. It's pure instinct. She sees her crewmate, her friend, drowning, and she dives right in after him. That one action says more than any line of dialogue could. She is still their Nami. That was super.
She pulls him out and the facade is immediately back up. The mask is on so tight it must be suffocating. She's angry, asking him what he was thinking, shouting at him for being an idiot. She has to project fury to cover up the fact that she just revealed her deepest loyalty.
But Zoro just throws it right back at her. I should be asking you that. Don't act so tough. He sees right through her. He won. He knows the truth now. He's not even smug about it. It's just a statement of fact. He's telling her, I see you. I know this is an act. He just confirmed everything he needed to know. The game is over for him.
She has to regain control of the situation. The fishmen are confused. Arlong is watching. She tells them to lock him up, that she'll deal with him later. It's the only move she has left to save her life and her cover at the same time. She has to reestablish her authority and her cruelty.
It's so good. It's such a tense, perfectly executed character moment. We didn't need a big fight. We just needed a test of heart, and Zoro aced it. He walked in there to find his navigator, and he found her. He just had to almost drown to do it.
While this is happening, the tension is immediately ramped up again. One of the fishmen reports to Arlong that a long-nosed human got away.
Usopp, they saw him, and Arlong immediately knows where he'd go. Kokoyasi, village. He says he has business there anyway. The dread in that line is just thick. It's not a furious declaration, it's a casual, offhand comment, which makes it 1,000 times scarier. This is just part of his routine.
We cut back to the village and the people are terrified. Someone shouts, "It's Arlong!" and it's like a death knell. The entire town panics. Genzo, the sheriff with the pinwheel on his hat, knows why. He says Arlong found his weapons.
And then we see him, Arlong and his top officers walking into town like they own the place, because they do. The fear is palpable. Oda is so good at drawing the expressions of the terrified townspeople. Usopp is hiding, just watching, and he says Arlong isn't human. It's a statement of pure shock and terror.
Nojiko corrects him. He's a fishman. It's a simple statement of fact, but it carries so much weight. It means this isn't an aberration. This is their reality. This monster is a known quantity, a feature of their lives, not a bug.
Arlong confronts Genzo about the weapons, and Genzo's excuse is so flimsy it's heartbreaking. He says it's a hobby. You can feel the sweat pouring off him. He's trying to stand up for his town, but he knows he's completely outmatched. He's a small-town sheriff trying to lie to a king.
Arlong's response is dripping with hypocritical menace. He says he can't allow weapons because they only bring violence and disrupt the peace. This is coming from the man whose entire rule is built on overwhelming, brutal violence. It's the classic speech of a tyrant.
He's not just ruling them, he's declawing them. He's making sure they can never, ever fight back. It's systematic. It's not enough to be stronger than them. He needs them to be fundamentally incapable of resistance. It's psychological warfare.
And to prove his point, to give his threat teeth, he casually mentions destroying the neighboring Gosa village for failing to pay their tribute. He talks about it like he's discussing a failed business venture. This is where Nojiko explains the tribute system to a horrified Usopp.
This is the core of it, isn't it? This is the engine that runs this entire island of suffering. They have to pay a massive sum of money every single month just for the right to live, not for protection, not for services, for the privilege of not being murdered by him.
It's a protection racket, but on an island-wide scale, and it's diabolically designed. The price of one person failing to pay is the destruction of the entire village. It turns everyone into a warden. It makes neighbors terrified of each other's poverty.
It's pure evil. It's designed to create fear and compliance, to turn neighbors against each other. If one person can't pay, everyone suffers. It ensures no one ever steps out of line, because you wouldn't just be risking your own life, you'd be condemning everyone you've ever known. How do you even begin to organize a rebellion against that?
You can't. It's a system of perfect control. And now Nami's obsession with money makes perfect, tragic sense. Her goal of 100 million berries, it's not a random number. I have to think it's tied to this somehow. She isn't greedy. She's been living under a system where money is literally the difference between life and death for everyone she knows. Every single berry she's ever stolen was probably weighed against the lives of the people in this village.
Arlong leaves with a final threat.
telling them to work hard because tribute time is coming. Just a casual reminder of the boot on their necks. He leaves them stewing in their own fear. He doesn't even have to stay to enforce his rule. The system does it for him.
But the moment he's gone, the moment the immediate threat to the village has passed, we cut back to Arlong Park, and Nami is rushing to Zoro's cell.
Yes, she's telling him to escape, to get out of there before Arlong comes back. The mask is off. The performance is over for now. She saved him from the water, and now she's freeing him. She's actively betraying Arlong to save a member of the Straw Hat crew she's supposedly a part of.
She's our navigator. She's still on the team. She just has one last impossible thing she has to do here first. And now Zoro knows it for sure. He cracked the code, and this is his proof. It's an incredible chapter for them both. Before we get to predictions, Oda's author comment this week was interesting. In the 7th month of the year 1999, Mongol man will fall from the sky. Be wary of leg lariats.
Okay, what is that? Is that a wrestling thing? Mongol man sounds like a wrestler, and a leg lariat is definitely a move. Is he a big Kinnikuman fan or something?
It feels like a reference to Nostradamus's prophecies about a great king of terror descending from the sky in July 1999, something that people at the time thought would be the end of the world. Oda is just filtering that through his pro-wrestling, shonen manga-loving brain. It's just him being weird. It has no bearing on the story, but it's a funny little window into his mind at the time. He's thinking about the apocalypse and wrestling moves.
Oda is one of a kind. You know, if you have your own weird theories about what's going through Oda's head or what's about to happen in this arc, drop them in the comments. We read every single one, and we love the weird ones the most.
We do. Okay, predictions for chapter 72. What do you have, Franky?
All right, prediction 1. Zoro isn't just going to leave. Nami tells him to escape, but he's a Straw Hat. You don't leave a crewmate behind in a place like this. He's going to say something like, "Not without you," or "Not until I cut this fishman down." Nami is going to have to physically stop him or knock him out to get him away from Arlong Park for his own safety. She'll have to save him from his own loyalty.
That feels very Zoro. He doesn't run from a fight, especially not one that involves a friend. He just proved his loyalty to her. He's not going to abandon her a minute later. I like that.
Prediction 2. Usopp is going to link up with Genzo. He saw the whole confrontation. He saw Genzo's pathetic but brave little lie, and he knows Genzo has weapons stashed away. Usopp, being Usopp, is going to see this as the seed of a rebellion. He's going to try and start a village resistance movement, probably with some ridiculous, overly complicated plan that will absolutely not work, but will be very brave. The Usopp pirates are about to be reformed, with a membership of one terrified sheriff.
The birth of Captain Usopp's East Blue Resistance. It's a terrible idea, which is why he'll definitely do it. He can't stand by and watch people suffer. It's his best and worst quality.
And my third prediction, Luffy and Sanji arrive, but they don't find the village first. They're going to be following that weird sea cow, get lost, and stumble directly into Arlong Park. They'll be looking for Nami and Zoro, see the big gaudy sign, and walk right into the middle of the hornet's nest without any of the context we just got. It'll be pure chaos.
That would be the most Luffy way to enter the arc imaginable. Just punch the front door down and ask questions later. Okay, my turn. My first prediction is that we're about to get the flashback. Nojiko, now as Usopp, a member of Nami's crew, as a captive audience. He's asked the question, why? I believe Nojiko is going to sit him down and tell him the full story of what happened to their mother, Belmare, and how Arlong's rule began. It's time for the tragedy behind the tribute.
Oh man, I'm not ready for that. But you're right, the stage is set perfectly. It's coming. That's going to be a tough one.
Second, Genzo's pinwheel, the one on his hat. It's not just a character quirk, it's too specific, too prominent in his design. I predict that it's directly related to Nami's childhood. It's something he does to make her smile or to stop her from crying when she was a little girl. It's a symbol of their bond, a little piece of light in her dark past that he carries with him every day.
I could totally see that. A little piece of visual storytelling that's been right in front of us this whole time. That's a good one. Okay, what's your last one?
My final prediction, Nami freeing Zoro fails. Not because she gets caught in the act, but because he gets caught immediately after. He's wounded from the Mihawk fight. He's in enemy territory. Arlong or one of his officers will find him before he can get away, and this will force Nami to come up with an even more elaborate and dangerous lie to explain why her prisoner is out of his cell. She'll have to claim she was testing his bonds, or moving him to a more secure location. The situation is about to get much, much worse for her, and her mask will be tested to its absolute limit.
Oof, that's dark, but it feels right. Things are way too simple right now if Zoro just gets away. Oda's gotta twist that knife some more. Alright, that's all the time we have for this chapter. It was a heavy one, but a super important one.
It was. The emotional stakes of this arc are now crystal clear. Join us next time as we see if any of our predictions come true.
Until then, stay super.